Gonna do some work, make some progress. Yes. Best part of the day. Alright, so right before I started filming, I got some rather unpleasant, but not unexpected news. I was talking to my neighbor over here, and they have a house that is a carbon copy of mine. Both are built in the late 50s, and I heard that whenever they were remodeling their house, there was absolutely zero insulation in the exterior walls. Now, I was optimistic up to this point until I had actually seen evidence otherwise that there would be insulation, but apparently there's not. Still gotta fix the plumbing, level the foundation, and get the septic fixed. But after all that's done, we're gonna get a couple friends out here, tear down the drywall, re-insulate, get new electric, and once that's inspected, we'll be a done house, I think. So look forward to that in the future. After getting that news, I am still planning on going forward with my original plan for today. I'm going to take down these hanging cabinets. I'm going to keep them intact in case we decide to put them up again for some cost savings. They're really not in bad condition, believe it or not. We might reuse them, but we'll determine that later. For now, I'm going to take them down, put them out in the garage. What we're going to be doing today is complete panel destruction. All the paneling that's stuck behind these cabinets is coming out, hence why we have to take them down. And all the walls in the kitchen are completely covered in this panel. There's no drywall anywhere. I honestly don't think it's going to take very long, so let's just go ahead and get that knocked out for today. So here's what we're working with. We have 3 walls completely covered in paneling hidden behind upper cabinets. I started by removing the plates for things such as the phone lines and the outlets before starting to pry off the trim and the boards themselves. I didn't anticipate this up front, but the paneling went all the way to the floor instead of stopping at the countertop level. Whenever I examined the seams previously, I thought that it stopped at the countertop, but it ended up going all the way down to the floor. Five minutes in, and I realize I'm in for more than I bargained for. It only makes sense that the paneling would go all the way to the floor. It's not like they would just put in cabinets before finishing the kitchen and then panel the rest. It still caught me off guard. I guess I wasn't thinking clearly at the time. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I knew I'd have to get it all out eventually, so I just moved on to the places that I could see all of first, like above the refrigerator. I'm not sure what the cubby space was for, but it was enclosed on all sides but opened up to the closet and the adjacent bedroom. I guess it's just extra storage. This is where I started finding some fun stuff. Running through this panel is a 220 volt power supply. It went up from the floor, up into the ceiling, and it was held together with just wire nuts. There was no junction box, there was no enclosure, it was just hanging out there in the wall, just waiting for me to hit it with a bar. For the record, after finding out that not all the wiring was going to be secured properly, I did turn off the power. I was more happy than I probably should have been for removing this top scalloping above the window. I've never liked it. Even whenever I was young, I thought it looked weird and kind of ugly, so getting to hit one of those things and break it with a hammer was very satisfying. Do note, if you're going to be taking something apart with a hammer, yeah, you're probably going to get a face full of debris. It's probably best to wear the safety glasses all the way through just to not get stuff in your face. I hadn't seen how cabinets like this are attached before. See this nail right here? It's driven. The underside right there. I've seen how modern cabinets are hung, but this older style I wasn't really sure how to get them off. I'm used to seeing some sort of mounting board or an obvious way to take them off with screw heads. This was nailed directly into the wall. Most of the time they went directly through the bottom, top, or side walls of the cabinets themselves. I had to pry my way around it. Given enough time with the crowbar, and most everything can be detached from the wall. This one was actually the hardest to remove of the 3 sections. I spent a lot of time pulling and prying and pulling and prying, but eventually it did come off. Yes! Don't be afraid to celebrate the little things. That took a lot longer to take off than I anticipated because I had to watch out for making sure that I didn't tear the dang thing apart. If they don't end up going back into the kitchen, we'll at least put them in the utility room. There's some use for them, so just destroying them didn't really seem to make a lot of sense. Up until now, if you thought that tile on the backsplash was real, well, it's not. It was another layer of, I want to say, a vinyl material that was laid on top of the existing paneling in the kitchen. Since the paneling was coming off anyways, it wasn't worth wasting my time to try to take it off. I just instead moved on to the next cabinet. This cabinet was held on in the same style as the first, but was significantly easier to remove. Because the cabinets make an L shape, it had a weak joint right there in the corner. Because of that, all I had to do was loosen up the left side and the rest came off. Nice and clean. I didn't know what was going to happen when I broke out these 1x4s. The other cabinets were held up with nails into the wall, but this one I thought it could possibly be bearing some weight. Because the smallest end had fewer nails holding it to the wall, I could very easily pry it away and use the rest of the cabinets as a lever to take itself down. The hardest part of this section was just moving it. Starting to get dark in this part of the world, and I just barely got the 3 sections of cabinet out and not the paneling. The paneling is still stuck below the bottom of the countertops. I know that I'm going to end up replacing them. I just really didn't expect to do this much demo this early on. I think I'll suffice to take off the paneling that I can currently access, leaving the bottom cabinets intact for today, and then come back maybe tomorrow or the day after and just take it all out. I wasn't truly surprised at how fast I was taking things apart, but I was thrown off getting new information the entire time that I was taking stuff down. Between finding out I didn't have insulation in the exterior walls, seeing some of the weird electrical installations that were made in the cabinets and in the walls, and seeing my ever-growing pile of panels and wood in the living room, it made me nervous. I started questioning whether I had planned well enough to take this project on. The thing I did know, though, is that whatever happened, there was not going to be any paneling in my house. After taking a few minutes to remove everything that was left of the cabinets, clean up the workspace, and fiddle a little bit more with the electrical in the walls, I decided to call it a night. The light was gone, I wasn't going to be getting any further than this, and I just took some time to think about what I was going to do next. Thinking, planning, and making spreadsheets can only take you so far. Watching TV and other people do similar projects doesn't really prepare you for what it's going to be like to do this by yourself. It feels weird. You're tearing up what used to be somebody else's house and you're trying to make it better. I know I'll do that, but it's going to take some time to get used to it. Well, I didn't get as much done today as I wanted to, but I don't know when I ever have or if I ever will. I did get the cabinets out without breaking them apart, which is a plus, but now I'm starting to wonder, was it even worth it? I could have saved about an hour and a half just by taking a sledgehammer to them, and I could have had nicer cabinets by the end of the renovation as well. I started getting all of the paneling out. I was not able to get it all, though, because the largest majority of it was still tucked behind the lower cabinets. I will just pull them out the same way I did the uppers. Then I can have the house completely rid of panels. Maybe tomorrow. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves as much as I did. Hit the subscribe button if you want to follow this renovation from start to finish. Hit like for the YouTube algorithm, and I look forward to reading your comments down below. See you next time.